What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Phil, and welcome back to another video. So today is December 24th as of this recording. So I hope you guys are having a very nice Christmas Eve, or if you're not celebrating Christmas, I hope you're enjoying whatever festivities you have for the winter or the end of the year. So today is also Kingohger episode 41, which, is the main topic of this video. And before I begin, so there are going to be so many spoilers for this review, or this episode analysis. So I highly recommend that you guys check out this video after watching Kingohger episode 41, or if you don't mind, then just have fun with this video, because again, there are so many revelations that finally make a lot of things clear, and it took us like over 40 episodes to realize that, well, again, I'm gonna have to say like spoilers here, because there's just so many things that happened during today's episode. So again, watch the video first, or watch the episode first when you can already find it on the interwebs, and then come back to this video when you're ready. Otherwise, well, prepare for spoilers, and anyway, enjoy this video. So today's main topic of this video for this episode of Kingohger is Racles Hasti. That's right. You probably have seen it in the title already, and it's not clickbait, but Racles Hasti has actually been a good guy all along. So, we've seen him from the first episode to be despicable, and even as Jeremy narrates it, Racles has been dubbed as the worst king in the history of Shogodam. But now we see why. We see his motivations. We see his reasons. Finally, everything has been revealed in this episode, and now everything makes sense. I actually not really predicted, but like what I wanted to see at the end of Kingohger, like so the Kingohgers destroy Dagdead, and then Racles takes over as the actual main villain. But much earlier, I did mention that a redemption arc for Racles is also possible, and that's what we got today. Yes, guys, Racles is finally having his redemption arc in this episode. So everything is revealed, like I've said earlier. So let's talk about his entire plan this whole time. Now, it all makes sense considering their enemy, which is Dagdead, and in order to understand that, we need to go back to episode 26, when Dagdead reveals his grand plan for, well, the universe anyway. So Dagdead is, as he said himself, so he wants to eliminate life on probably any planet that he wishes to, destroy. But he doesn't prefer doing it himself because it's too boring. It's too easy, he says. Because basically Dagdead is a god, right? So what he does with his plans on destroying any life form on any planet that he, wants to destroy on a whim. So he just makes all the life, all the living things, probably all the civilizations on any planet that he wants to play with, he makes them fight each other. So that's probably what he wanted to do with Chikyu or Terra, is summed up, or uh, you know suburbs, make the King Ogre's planet to be. But I'm calling it Chikyu because it's what they use in the show anyway. So so the Bagnara conflict was orchestrated basically. Now, going back to Racles, so what he did is he embraced this like evil king persona, which is very much different from Gira, by the way. Gira is obviously pretending to be an evil king, but like Racles intentionally made everyone hate him. Like, come to think of it, Racles Hasti has been pulling a Lelouch v Britannia tactic this whole time, although not necessarily for the same goals. So talking about Lelouch for a little bit, so from Code Geass, the manga and anime, um, at the end of Code Geass R2, I believe, so Lelouch makes himself the new king, and what he does is basically turns himself into the enemy of the whole world, so that wars would stop and they would have a common enemy to defeat. And by basically sacrificing himself, you know Lelouch wants to bring peace to the world. However, Rackless's end goal is different. So he wanted to he did manage to create a conflict as per Dagdad's desires, because that would attract his attention. He wanted to get close to Dagdad as possible to enact his own revenge. That's right. The main goal of Rackless's whole Evil King act is revenge. So, going back 17 years into the past, so the Wrath of God incident, so that's the time when actually Rackless kind of became king. So he was still that young, he was still a teenager at that time, but we can see for certain that he was just crowned king. So, what happened to their father, however, well, we didn't see in this episode, but we could probably see next week, or actually not next week, but next time. I'll explain that later. So, uh, so again, knowing the nature of the enemy, aka Dagdad, so Rackless hatched, or he incubated and then hatched a 17-year plan in order to get close to Dagdad and finally destroy him. So, like, going back to episode 1, so what Rackless was shown to be doing is that he wanted to get the power of the King Ogre himself and try to disband, the Five Kingdoms Alliance, which, you know, which is a very villainous move in, like, from our point of view, but it was just one part of Rackless's plan. So there's just one factor that Rackless didn't take into consideration, that, as Rackless actually puts it himself, it ruined his whole plan. And that factor was Gira himself. So basically, what Rackless wanted was the power to defeat Dagdad. However, it was Gira, considering that he is, in fact, a clone, or not really a clone, but you can say he's a sort of, herald. Um, I can't think of a better word, but He was basically a life form created by Dagded as his own representation. So again, like calling Gira a Dagded clone, even though they look nothing alike. So, but that's the setting. That's what makes sense. So Gira having basically, basically being immortal. So he has the power that is actually needed to defeat Dagded. So again, in episode 1, we see Gira take the Oger caliber for himself and transform into, Kuwagata Oger, and fight. So, of course, like the moment that Gira took the Oger caliber, Racles allowed him to do so. Like he could have stopped Gira then and there, in order to take the sword, but he just lets Gira take it. But again, things got complicated after that. Like, yeah, Gira has been dubbed a criminal, but nonetheless, uh, anyway, like even with Gira getting the Oger caliber and transforming to Kuwagata Oger, so Racles still had the Oger Caliber Zero, which of course he used in order to transform into King Kuwagata Oger, or O Kuwagata Oger rather. And he also developed the King Oger Zero, because it's actually not affected by, you can say, Dagded's control. So if you remember, like in episode 39 or episode 40, yeah, 40. So when Gira was taken control by Dagded, so he controlled the Oger, King Oger, or the God King Oger. But if that were the King Oger Zero, it wouldn't have happened. So, well, basically, we did see the King Oger Zero get destroyed, but that wasn't part of the plan. So we also see, of course, like the duel between Gira and Racles, and of course, like Gira eventually won, which is how he became king. But Racles took it as an opportunity to fake his own death, and by doing so, he was able to become like this. I forgot the name of his masked persona, but Shugo Kamen. There we go. He used this opportunity to become Shugo Kamen and again get close to Dagded. So pretend to be loyal, and we do see one of the like the Galactibug generals being destroyed back in episode 39. So that was intentionally done by Racles. He took that opportunity so that he can become one of those generals, again, get close to Dagded, earn his trust, and gain the power necessary to destroy him. So last week's episode. So Dagded draws some sort of circle onto the Oger Caliber Zero that grants it the power to basically kill a god. So Dagded, thinking that Racles would strike Gira down, instead turns back and does it to Dagded. So this is where everything comes into light. So again, well, things didn't necessarily go as Racles had planned it to be, but he basically did use Gira to his advantage, recognizing that Gira is actually the one who has the power necessary to defeat Dagded. Oh, of course, even though he has the power of the Oger Caliber Zero unlocked, or the sword is now able to destroy a god, but again, combining that with Gira's power in this episode, so they were able to deal significant damage to Dagded. But I'm pretty sure Dagded is still out there somewhere, plotting his next attack against the King Ogers. So we now see that Racles had been a good guy all along. And with the help of Kaguragi, so like both of them, so you can also say that uh, we can also include Suzume in the mix because they have been playing like this 4D chess in front of us, right? In front of everyone they know, and even Dagded himself. So again, in order to destroy Dagded and save the universe, so they use the strategy of tricking their allies in order to trick their enemies. So this is one reason why we always see Kaguragi act shady even when we see him working with the King Ogres. But Kaguragi, talking about Kaguragi a little bit, so when he saw how Gira cared even for the citizens of Tofu, like you know, Kaguragi recognized that Gira had, the qualities of a true king, and when when he recognized Gira as a proper king or a proper royalty, so I think he was very sincere with that. But again, in order to, help Rackless with his grand plan, so he had to deceive everyone or working with Rackless. So they deceived everyone, but again, that's just besides the point. So that's just a means to an end, which is again destroying Dagdead. So like it's galactic brain level, you know. It's it's not monkey brain, it's galactic brain level on, both Rackless and Kaguragi's part. So however, as of this episode, so they have or you know they have revealed their intentions to everyone. Of course, Kaguragi informs the other King Ogres that this was the plan all along, and now that they have done significant damage to Dagdad, so they're now able to work together. However, this still doesn't excuse Rackless from all his crimes. Now, well, considering what he's done, like he has put a lot of people in danger, and well, to be completely honest, the near annihilation of the Bagnaraks, which, if you're Jeremy, you'd probably be so mad about it because, Jeremy wanted the Bagnarak and the humans to coexist peacefully and side by side, but yeah, so this Bagnarak war orchestrated by Rackless in order to get close to Dagded, again, it's still basically a war crime if you will, comparing it to real world scenarios. But again, I can see and I can understand where Rackless is coming from. Not that I have the same experiences, but like this makes sense. This made the most sense to me at least. So this is how like Rackless tries to save the entire universe. Although again, a lot of sacrifices were made, obviously. So, but how Dagded would, enact his revenge upon the King Ogres and Rackless moving forward. So that's something that we are yet to see. But you know, a redemption arc for Rackless. So it's still a nice execution in my opinion. So yeah, it all happens in one episode, but considering that we only have a couple of months left, I think it's okay. So now we can just focus on the team, trying their best to defeat the Galactibugs and Dagdead, and finally bring peace to the entire universe, or probably a multiverse if you will. So I think Rackless's redemption was handled quite nicely. I still understand like how a lot of people would hate Rackless, and giving him probably some would probably hate that he gets a redemption arc considering all the terrible things he's done. But for him, it was a necessity. Again, in order to reach his end goal, which again I understand. Like, I can see from how I observe, but again, that redemption arc, like I said, was totally possible and in the realm of possibility. So yeah, again, it was done and executed really well. So I really like this episode. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 just because how everything is finally answered. So we can finish King Oger with like no loopholes or no plot holes that you know. y- Unlike the predecessor, Dawn Brothers, it ended. No, it wasn't really the ending that uh, rocks the whole world, in my opinion. But uh, yeah, there are a lot of questions that were never answered. But today with King Oger, like, we now see everything. And again, we can just focus on the finale, knowing that there are no more mysteries, or who knows, but there may still be some questions needed to be answered, but at least King Odor episode 41 answers a lot of them. So, what do you guys think? So, let me know down in the comments section. So, thank you so much for watching, and as always, please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip. I hope you guys enjoy your holidays, and I'll see you next time. So by the way, there's no superhero time on January or December 31st because there are gonna be a lot of New Year's specials. So this is when King Oger or superhero time would be taking their New Year's break, and the next superhero time episode would be on January 7th, 2024. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.